So we will continue from this lesson. Just a quick recap. From this lesson, the author introduced the plural, right? So all this time we have dealt with the singular, every vocabs, every pronoun, everything that we had up until this lesson, we were only dealing with the singular. But what from this lesson the author started talking about is plural. So what the author will do is he will take next 3 or 4 lessons, maybe more, I'm not sure, where he will introduce plural bits by bits. Naam. So in this lesson, he's dealing mostly on the third person plural. Okay. So if we were to do a quick review, we know the plural. What is the third person singular pronoun? We have huwa. Naam. This is singular, he, third person. How do we say plural for huwa? Okay, plural, third person. So this is what the author introduced. So we say whom. Okay, whom. So they. So in this lesson, we learned how to say whom, and we also learned how do we conjugate from the noun perspective. For example, we talked about this. These are all detached pronouns, so they are your subject pronoun, and the attached pronoun for the huwa is who. So you say kita. You say what? Kita buhu. These are all something that we already learned, and whom, the attached pronoun is also whom. So we say kita buhum. Kita buhum. Now, these are for with regards to noun. Now, what the author wants to do is start talking about the plural for the verb conjugations. Now, remember, I'm keep on telling you that this book is not going to be heavily focused on the verb, but what the author does, which is also very nice, that he at least gives you a little bit of the verbs from only one tense perspective, from the past tense. Okay, so when it comes to past tense, the author will give you all the conjugations for that tense, meaning you will learn how to say any verb in the past tense with any different pronoun, like he did, I did, we did, you did, they did. So all these conjugations will be there. So how do we say he went? Simple. We learned it from the day one. From the very early one, we say ذهب. Now, as you know, the most bare minimum verb represent the third person singular. So this is huwa. This is huwa. ذهب. That means he went. Now, in this section, the author will introduce how do you say they went? How do you say they went? Remember, when we talked about how to say she went, all we did is we added ta with the sukun, ta ta'nith. Inshallah, the author will talk about this ta. So we say dhahabat, dhahabat. Now, so this ta with the sukun, when you add, it becomes she went. So now, how do we say they went? So this is what he means by waw al-jama'a. So that means we have to add wow at the end. Now, another thing to keep in your mind, which is very nice, that all the conjugation that happens to the past tense, all the conjugation with the past tense will be, or all the changes that you need to make for the past tense pronouns will be at the end. Okay, so you just have to know what to add at the end. So from here, we understand that we have to add wow. So I'll read it and then inshallah I will explain to you. So he says wow al jama'a. So this is the name of the wow that we will be adding. It's just a one wow. It says it is dhamir lil mudhakkar. Naam. So it is a pronoun for what? Number one comes pronoun for masculine. Al aqil. Number two, it is for intellect. Okay. And it is yattasilu bil fa'il. So that means you connect to the verb. So this wow is referring to the verb wow. Now, one thing that he should mention, which he did not mention here, is that It is ضمير للمذكر, also للجمع. So you can say ضمير جمع or جمع. It's not clear whether this waw is for the plural or not, but it is, this waw is only for the plural. So we add a waw, which is a plural waw, but we use this waw only for the masculine, only for the intellect, and we add at the end. Okay, I'll explain what he means by huwa fa'al. So for example, here is you waw. We had dhahaba. Okay, now this is the waw they're referring to. You add this waw. As you can see, there's a one alif right after the waw. So this is a writing convention. It is something that you have to do. Okay, 99.9% of the time when you add waw, you have to add this alif. Whenever you add waw, you have to add this alif. Just like remember when we said kitab, when we wanted to make it mansub, we added this alif, right? But this one is honestly, this is not only writing convention. This is also reading convention, meaning it also impacts reading. So meaning, this is a little bit off topic, but I forgot to mention last time. So when you have kitabun or kitabin, when you stop at this word, let's say you don't want to pronounce the ending, you say kitab. Naam, whether it's kitabun or kitabin, when you're ending, you say kitab. But when you have this this tanween with alif, do you stop with kitab? When you end? No, you cannot stop with say kitab. You have to say kitaba. You need to pronounce the alif. There's no exception, right? So you have to say kitaba like that. So this is not only the writing convention, you also have to make sure how to read at the end. And you also have to be careful. If you say kitaba, you stop like that, then people will think there is a ta marbuta. But you have to prolong a little bit, say kitaba, then they will know there is a tanween of fatha. Now, so but here what's going on is that this alif, it is just mere for writing convention. It doesn't have any reading implication. Huh? So just keep that in mind. So this is the waw that we're adding. So going back to the same example that we were having here. So we say dhahaba, the way you add is dhahaba. So you add this waw and then you add alif. Now you have dhaha. Now the question comes, what haraka do we put here? Because remember the last ending haraka was fatha. And we said only thing we are doing is adding the waw. So do we do something like that? For example, when we added the ta with sukun, we said dhahabat. Everything is exactly the way. Here we can't. So we cannot add just fatha here because there is a problem. The problem that we have here is this waw. And this problem has to do with, again, going back to the pronunciation. If the Arabs, they can make their life easy by making some changes so that it is easy for them to pronounce, they will do by any means, unless as long as it does not impact the grammar. If they do, then they won't. So here, because remember, I'm keep on reminding you, fatha and alif, they're in a pair, right? And kasra and ya, they are in a pair in terms of vowels, with terms of sounds, with terms of movements, they're similar. And dhamma and waw, every time they have alif, they want to pronounce fatha before that. Anytime they have alif, they want to pronounce fatha before it. And this is by and large 100% of the time, except for one case. So every time you have alif, they will pronounce fatha before that. And if it was their choice, every time they have ya, they want to pronounce kasra before this. This is not 100% of the time. I would say this is majority of the time it will be the case. But there are sometimes it's not the case. But that's what they want because of their pronunciation. So it's easier for them. Likewise, when they have waw, they want to pronounce dhamma before this. So if they can get away with this, they will do it. But if they can't, then they won't. But here, there's not a problem. So they will put a dhamma. Why? Because we put a waw. So it is very easy for them to pronounce. So this is one way to look at it. And this is the proper way to look at it if you study advanced grammar, whether you study Ajrumiyya or Qatr Nada or Alfi ibn Malik. they will explain that this is for munasib. This dhamma is coming because of it is appropriate. With what? Appropriate with wow. So we say dhahabu. But remember, now we have a mad, so you cannot say dhahabu. You have to say dhahabu because now you produced a mad. You have a dhamma and you have a wow. So you need to pronounce, you need to prolong a little bit. But you just ignore this alif. You ignore this alif. So this is how you make into a third person plural for masculine. So jalasa, jalasu. Kharaja, kharaju. Fahimtum? Very simple, but again, these are like a math. You need to do exercise. So now he gave you a little bit examples. You have aina dhahaba tullab, and I'll explain to you. I think I alluded into a little bit last time. Now it looks like I have to explain to you a little bit more about this issue, which is a very critical, and a lot of students they don't understand this or they don't know this. So as you can see here, we said aina dhahaba at-tullab. So where did the student go? So you're asking the question. So we'll say, where did the student go? And tulab is students, plural of talib. As far as the translation goes, it should be clear that where did the students go. But if you look here, we have at-tulab, same word, at-tulab, students. What do we have? Students, ذهبوا, not ذهبا, ذهبوا إلى المطعم. مطعم is restaurant. Now, so they went to the restaurant. Now something is off here, right? What's going on here? That we have ذهب here as a singular, because remember we said ذهب means he went. And dhahab, we just say they went. So now something doesn't make sense because we are here referring to a plural. We are saying dhahaba at-tullabu. We're not saying dhahaba at-talib. Here you can also say this. If somebody were to ask, where did the student go? You say aina. My iPad is in different angles, so I'm having a hard time writing. Aina dhahaba at-talib. So where did the student go? For both cases, you say dhahaba. So now something is not right. Why are you using singular, which this one makes sense, and why are you using singular here, where the subject or the file is a plural? But then you're changing it again here. So you're saying at-tullabu dhahabu. Now you're changing. What's going on? Why didn't you change here? And why are you changing here? Why did not you say aina dhahabu at-tullab? So this is a little bit critical thing to understand. I will just mention here. I'm pretty sure the book will go much, much more in details, especially in the book 2, where they will give you the rules. But I'll just mention to you what's going on. We already know the verbal sentence and the nominative sentence. Now, you already know the verbal sentence and nominative sentence. Verbal sentence when the sentence starts with the verb. So this is a verbal sentence. This question is not counted for. So remember the verbal sentence, the fi'l of verbal sentence. How should I write it without making too big deal? Always the verb is always what? Singular. Okay, so this is something rule you have to keep in your mind. Regardless of the doer could be plural or it can be singular, doesn't matter. You keep the verb into singular. But you will change the gender. If the subject is masculine, you keep the verb as a masculine. If subject is feminine, you keep the verb as a feminine. But make sure that you understand this. Inshallah, it is something that you will learn. So that's what's going on. You start with a verb. Now you have to give the verb as a singular. Okay. So you say dhahaba at-tullabu. But now when you start with a noun, is this a verbal sentence? It is not a verbal sentence anymore. It is a nominative sentence because you start with the noun. So at-tullab here is mubtada. So what is at-tullab here? When you say aina dhahaba at-tullab, it would be fa'il. Okay, you will get used to it. Don't read the concept a little bit tricky. You will get used to it. Okay, so you say أين ذهب الطلاب? Where did the student go? Now you say الطلاب ذهبوا إلى المطعم. The student went to the restaurant. So next exercise you have المدرس جلس في الفصل. So the teacher جلس sat. Now sat in the fasal, in the classroom. Now you're making into plural. المدرسون. This is the teachers. جلسوا. Okay, they sat in the fasal. But if you wanted to say, if you wanted to make this entire sentence into a verbal sentence, you will say what? You will say jalasa. Jalasa al-mudarrisuna. Jalasa al-mudarrisuna fil fasli. So here, these two sentences would be identical as far as the meaning goes. There are, subtle differences. One would be obviously nominative sentence. Another one would be a verbal sentence. But as you can see here, because I'm starting with the verb, I have to make it into a singular. So you say jalasa al-mudarrisuna. Mudarrisuna is a plural. Okay, inshallah, you'll get used to them. At-tajir, which is a businessman, kharaja. Then we say at-tujaru kharaju. And don't forget your alif. فهمتم? So as you can see here, what he wants to say is kharaja, it is fi'l, the verb, and this wow is the fa'il. Now these things may be a little bit tricky in the beginning. Understand this concept, is the wow is the fa'il. So if someone were to ask you, for example, if someone were to ask you kharaja, where is the fa'il? Where's the doer? Hua. So where is the hua? Do I see the hua? Do I see hua? No, we don't see hua. This is a hidden. So kharaja, as you know, this verb has a pronoun. The pronoun is he left. So we don't have any visual clue of this he here. So that's why we say there's a hidden hua. But when you say kharaju, kharaju, we know this means they left. Now, so, but is there any visual clue of the pronoun? Yes, the visual clue of the pronoun is this wow. So that's why we say this wow equal to fa'il. But now the tricky things will happen to you. Where I'm going to fry your brains right now. That's the problem when we talk about too much grammar. But what happens? Kharajat. Okay, kharajat. So where is the fa'il here? Because remember, kharajat means she left. So do we have a visual clue that she left? Here we did not have any visual pronoun, so we said the hidden is wa. Here we say that we have a visual pronoun, which is wow. Do we have any visual pronoun? So ta with sukun. Okay. So this is why I told you I'm going to fry your brains, because that's not the pronoun. The Arabs, they will say this ta is not the pronoun. Ta the sukun is not fa'il. The fa'il is again hidden here. Why do they say this? There's a lot of reasons, but only thing I will tell you that you have to, if you say the ta is here in this level, nobody will mind, I suppose. But as you go, especially in book 2, don't worry, the author will make sure you understand this. This ta is not the fa'il. This ta is the sign of feminine. So for example, we have kitab or talib, and we have taliba. This ta marbuta is the sign of feminine. So it's still talib, it's still a student, but we're using this ta to indicate that this is a female student. So this is how the ta works. They want to say the ta is a sign of the feminine, just like what we have in the noun. See, this noun is a sign. So here what they're saying, this is a sign of, the subject is feminine, but it is not the pronoun itself. Little bit tricky stuffs, but something to keep in your mind. So they will not say the ta is fa'il. They will say the here, hidden here is the fa'il. So something, don't worry too much about this stuff, guys, right now. Inshallah, these things will be super easy as you move forward. So clear so far? inshallah, review them, go back to the book. You will find a lot of exercises. Inshallah, everything will be easy. So now the author introduced the feminine third person plural. Remember, in this chapter, author is focusing on the plural for the third person. So he introduced whom. Now he's going to, this is for they, masculine. Now he's going to introduce they, feminine, hunna. So we say hunna for they, feminine. Let's see what he says. He says hunna dhamiru jam. So this is here, he made it much clear. So that is good. This is a pronoun for plural, for ghaib, third person, and muannath, and for aqil. So you have a lot of stops. These are all things that you have to know what the hunna is uses for. It has to be for plural, it has to be for third person, and it is for feminine, and it is for intellect. So now he gives you an example. We say man ha'ula'i, who are these. Remember, these are for both masculine and feminine. You can be looking at the brothers only and say man ha'ula'i. You want to know who they are. You can also look at the sisters only. You can also say man ha'ula'i. And obviously, you can look into a mixed group and you can use a man ha'ula'i. And remember, in a mixed group, since we're talking about pronoun, inshallah, this concept will come, but I'll just let you know now. In a mixed group, when it comes to plural, we always use the masculine version, even if the group majority of them are female. For all types of pronoun, for demonstrative pronoun, for relative pronouns, or for your standard pronouns. Okay, something inshallah you will see them. So the question is man haulahi, you say hunna mudarrisatun. So this is the plural for mudarrisa. Mudarrisa. Okay, so this you add alif and ta. Inshallah, I think we will talk about them soon. I don't know when. The author will talk about the sound plural and broken plural. Inshallah, one of these days we will review. Once we are done with all the plural, inshallah, we will have a very nice review with all of them, like all the pronouns and everything, inshallah. Here, as you can see, we are saying hunna. We don't say whom, because whom is for masculine. We say hunna. Aina zumalauki. Where your classmates. You say hunna fil mahja. I think we had this word before. Mahja is what? Resident dorm for the students. So we say hunna, they. Now, so next we have example, man haula'i, who are they? Hunna abna'uki. The way he's using the word here, this is interesting. The way he's using the asking questions, for example, even here, he's asking as a classmate. So he's using a general term because abna, what is abna? What is the plural? What is the singular of abna? Abna is sons or, yes, very good. Abna is sons or it could be for boys. So this is a plural. The singular is ibn. Now, singular is ibn. But based on the context, looks like this person is looking at the children, and then that person is asking, who are they? He is using as a general term, like who are these children? The answer, because all of them are girls, answer is hunna banatu akhi, the daughter of my brother. If we were to say, for example, if in this group, if we had the mixed, he would say ba'duhunna. So remember the ba'd, this word is very important, comes a lot. We use that word a lot, and also in the Quran it comes a lot. Ba'd. Okay, so ba'd always be in a mudaf ilayhi form, so it will have ba'du. So now ba'd, some of what? Ba'duhum. Ba'duhum, some of them. Now, or you can say ba'duhunna. Ba'duhunna. Some of them. Now, as you can see, just like whom, the attached and the detached pronouns are exactly the same. Attached and the detached pronouns is the same. So you can say kitabuhum or kutubuhum, And for the hunna, attached and detached pronouns are the same. So which is nice. Okay, kitabuhunna or kutubuhunna. Kutubuhum, kutubuhunna. So that they are same. So this is pretty nice. As long as you keep this in your mind, so your conjugations will be same. So now you can say ba'duhunna banat, and you can say ba'duhum abna. Then we have aina talibatul judud. Talibat is the plural for female students. Taliba. And judud is plural for jadid. Jadid. So the judud is the same for masculine and feminine, something that I mentioned to you before. So we can use the plural for the jadid, judud, for describing both masculine and feminine. So we could have said at-tullabu al-judud. We can also say at-talibatu al-judud. Okay, something to keep in your mind. So now he's asking, who are these new students, or Aina? So where are the new students? She's answering بعضهن في الفصل وبعضهن عند المدير. Some of them are in the classroom and some of them at the principal. فهمتم? Now, something that we already talked about, ta'anith, which is the ta that at the end. So let's see what the author is saying here right now. Ta'anith is harf. Okay, it's harfun sakinun. It is a harf with the sukun. Yattasilu bil fi'l. It is connected with the verb. وَيَدُلُّ عَلَى أَنَّ الْفَاعِلْ مُؤَنَّث. Look at the wording. It is saying that it indicates. It's not saying it is a file. It is saying it indicates that the doer, the file, is feminine. So he is talking about jalasat, this ta. Okay, zahabat. Okay. So this ta, it is not file. He's not saying this ta is the file. He's saying it indicates that the file is the feminine. So this is alamatu ta'nith. It is the sign of the femininity. So you say kharajat Fatimatu. Even in the verbal sentence, you have to make sure you make the verb into feminine if the subject is the feminine, if the file is feminine. So we say kharajat Fatimatu. At-talibatu kharajat. This is the nominative sentence. Okay, ذهبت زينب إلى المدرسة. خديجة ذهبت. So these are simple things. I think we have seen ta'ut sukun a lot, so it should be good. Now the author will talk about. Remember, this wow was plural pronoun for verb. Third person plural for the verbs. So just to bring this one here again. So we have whom. Okay, whom dhahabu. Whom dhahabu. So this wow is the plural for the verb, and whom is plural for the noun. So author already introduced hunna for the female person. So now we will have to know how do we conjugate verb for the plural for the feminine. So how do we say they, all the women, they left? How do we say this? So something is called noon and niswa. So we add the noon of niswa. Everything has a name in the Arabic grammar. But honestly, in this stage, I am not pushing you to memorize these names. Wallahi, this is something that if you could do it, it's fine, but it is not required at all. These are the names we pay a lot more attention when we study specific grammar books like Ajurumia and things like that. But if you can get used to it, alhamdulillah, because I mentioned to you, this sharh, it is focused on the grammar. That's why he uses a lot of grammar notes. Your actual book, author will introduce grammar notions, but not that extensively. Let's read what he says. He says, Noon and Niswa, dhamir lil mu'annath. It is a pronoun. So now you know, so this noon would be a pronoun. Lil aqil, so it is for the intellect. Yattasilu bil fi'l, so it is connected with the verb. Wa huwa fa'il. That means we know this noon is in fact fa'il, unlike the ta with sukun. So how do you add this noon? We said at-talibatu kharajna. This is your noon an-niswa. So what's going on? Let's do our dhahaba. So dhahaba, So how do we add this noon? Remember, the noon has a fatha. So noon and niswa has a fatha. This you cannot change. So what do? You say, if you were to add just by adding, it would be dhahabana, dhahabana, right? Dhahabana. Just like we said, dhahabat, dhahabat. Only thing we added was taut sukun. We didn't have to change any haraka. But if we do the same thing for the noon, we have something called dhahabana. Now, if you study advanced grammar, they will tell you that Arab, they don't like continuous four haraka. They don't like four continuous haraka. It is something they want to avoid. But especially when it is the same haraka. So you have, dhahabana. As you can see, all of them are haraka, same fatha. So they don't like this. It doesn't sound good to them. So what they will do, since they cannot change this one, because this is the pronoun, they will put a sukun here. So they'll remove the haraka from one of them, the one before it. So you say dhahabna. Fahamtum? Now we have dhahabna. I'm just giving you a little bit of philosophy or something like that, why they make this change, but that is what you have to do. And I will warn you one more thing, that make sure you know how to pronounce this noon. Don't say dhahabna. Don't make any prolong into this noon. If you do so, you will confuse people with another pronoun, inshallah, the author will mention to you, which is we went. When you say we went, I'll just write it down here just so that you don't make this mistake. We went would be dhahabna. So you see dhahabna and dhahabna. It's the same sound. Only difference is that how long do you prolong the noon or not. So be careful. So here we don't prolong the noon. So we say kharajna min al mustashfa. The doctors left the hospital or went out from the hospital. الطالبات جلسنا في الفصل. So the students sat again. These are female students. Now these are female students. So we use jalasna. If it was male students, we would have said at-tullabu jalasu, at-talibatu jalasna fil fasli. Then we say al-mudarrisatu dhahabna. Okay, so something that you have to play with your conjugations. Sit down in a place. At least take 5 verbs like kataba. Okay, kataba, kharaja. Okay, dhahaba, dakhala, and then start doing your conjugation. He wrote kataba, she wrote katabat. Okay, they wrote katabu, they for female wrote katabna. So start practicing. So these are the all verb conjugations that the author is introduced in this book. And then the last thing that he talks about here is ulaika. So remember we had haulai. Haulai is for what? Haulai is for, yes, these. So what is ulaika? Those. Ulaika is those. So this is plural for what? Who can tell me what is the plural? What is the singular of ulaika? Just like haulai for both masculine and feminine, ulaika is also for masculine and feminine. Fahamtum? So we use this plural for both masculine and feminine. So that means its singular would be ذلك and tilka. Ahsant. Very good, ahsanti. So it would be ذلك and tilka. Because ذلك is for masculine and tilka is for feminine, but these are for singular. In singular, we make this distinction. But when it comes to plural, we don't make any distinction. He says, أولئك اسم إشارة للجمع البعيد العاقل مذكر ومؤنث. So again, few things to note. It is for far and it is for aqil. This is the point that you have to know. We don't say ulaika kutubun, that those are books. No, we don't say this. And how do you say this? Inshallah, the book did not mention to you yet. We will talk about them. So he's giving an example. Al-jam al-qarib, ha'ula'i rijalun. Okay, ha'ula'i nisa'un. As you can see, same word, but we use for 2 different genders. Rijal is man, plural for rajul. Nisa, who knows what is the singular for nisa? What is the singular for nisa? Nisa is women with the E. Imra'atun. Yes, very good. This it's singular is very strange. It doesn't have the same word or same letter. Is imra'a. Imra'atun. This is the plural. Sorry, singular. Now, so now he's giving example for ba'id, for far. We say ulaika rijalun. We say ulaika nisaun. Again, same thing we're using for both masculine and the feminine. We say man. Oh, by the way, just to give you a little bit, I should have mentioned this one. Be careful with the pronunciation. This pronunciation is one of the trickiest pronunciation. Usually, by and large, in English, you will see that you spell one way, but you pronounce different ways. It happens like almost all the time. That's why non-native speakers, they always have problems. They see a brand new word, they try to pronounce the way it is written, and then nobody understands that because that's not how you pronounce it. But in Arabic, by and large, it is exactly how you see it. But this one is a little bit tricky. Here it looks like after dhamma, we have a wow, so we should make it prolong, right? So we say woo, but no, this wow we don't pronounce. Okay, as you can see, that's why they're putting this type of circle here. But lam doesn't look like has any alif, so it said ooh laika. If it was just pronouncing it the way it's written, it should be ooh laika. But it's completely opposite. You don't pronounce here, but here as a hidden alif. So you say ulaika. So a little bit tricky word indeed. Now, so we have man ulaika rijal at-tiwal, who are those tall men, whom atibba, they are what? They are doctors. Get used to all the pronouns, whom, ulaika, plurals, So a lot of things to do. Oh, another thing he wants to mention to you is that we we use the same we use the same plural for adjective when we are describing feminine, something that I mentioned to you. So we say man ulaika nisa'ut tiwal. Same adjective, okay? Ar-rijal at-tiwal. We use this plural adjective for both masculine and feminine, just like what we have done for jadid and judud. We say hunna tabibat. Tabibat is the plural for tabiba. Yeah, this chapter is definitely long, guys. I don't know what to say. So we have a little bit of review here. We have asma ul ishara lil qarib. So these are the demonstrative pronoun for near. So demonstrative pronouns that we have learned so far for near. So we have al mufrad al mudhakkar, singular masculine for aqil and for the ghair aqil. So anything, so singular masculine, we say hada. Okay, so hada rajulun, we say hada kitabun. This is aqil, this is ghair aqil. For the plural of same, near demonstrative pronoun, we say haula'i. This is for mudhakkar and muannath. Okay, so we say haula'i. Anyway, so the way he divided this one is by the first line is for the mudhakkar only, for the masculine. So masculine singular is hada, plural is haula'i. Feminine singular is hadihi, both for aqil and ghair aqil, we say hadihi imra'atun and we say hadihi sayyaratun. And for the plural is haula'i. Okay, which is the same thing. Anyway, just look into these things. I don't know how to explain. It's something that for you to review because I feel like I've already done the explanation. Just look into these things, or you can make your own chart. The best thing is that you make your own chart. You find out, or you do all your, masculine. You do first person. Let's say first person, second person, third person, and just sit there and make your own chart. So you write Ana, for example, Ana, and second person you say anta. So make your chart whatever you have right now. Third person huwa, then you write the plural uh, with this. Just try to figure something out, and don't worry, at the end the book will give you the whole picture in one shot. Now, the first one was for the near, and this one is for the far. So you say dhalika for singular masculine, aqil or ghair aqil. We say ulaika for plural, but only for aqil. So ulaika we do not use for objects. And for feminine, we say tilka. For aqil and ghair aqil, and ulaika, same word for the plural, but again, we do not use ulaika for objects. Then we also studied a little bit of al-asma al-mawsula, which is the relative pronouns. So we have alladhi. Alladhi is for what? Alladhi is for singular, masculine, intellect or non-intellect. So you can say at-talibu alladhi, or you can say al-kitabu alladhi. Here, okay, at-talibu alladhi, you can say kitabu alladhi. But for the feminine, we say allati, at-talibatu allati, and haqibatu allati. But we haven't talked about the plural for these relative pronoun. Inshallah, we will see. But what you need to know is this is important. We say ha'ula'i rijalun, or we say ha'ula'i nisa'un. These are men and these are women, but we don't say ha'ula'i kutubun. We didn't say these are book. Although in English we use the same word. In Arabic we don't use that. Okay? We don't have any particular these word for objects. We have to use different techniques. And I will explain to those techniques later. If you're curious, I can just mention to you, we will use hadihi, singular feminine. We'll say hadihi kutubun. Naam. So here we say ulaika rijalun, those are men, or we can say ulaika nisaun, those are women, but we don't say those are book by saying ulaika kutubun. We say tilka kutubun. Why and everything, we'll get to them as we move forward. This is not the subject. I'm just writing it down if you're curious. Subhanallah. The chapter was pretty long, so we have to do a quick review from the book as well. So now. So we have Ad-Dars Al-Thalis Ashar, the 13th lesson. Again, just because the book, the chapter is long, doesn't mean that you have to rush. Don't rush it. Take your time. Author easily could have made at least 3 lessons or 2 lessons out of this, but he decided to put it all in one lesson. Why? We don't know. We don't care. It doesn't matter whether we divide by the lessons or sections. Doesn't matter. The point is we give its due time, whatever time it requires for us to master. We know we have to, just because other lessons you are able to finish in one day, don't feel pressure that you need to finish this in one day as well. No, take your time. If it takes 3-4 days, not a problem. So we'll go very quickly here. Man ha'ulai fitya. What is fitya? This is another very tricky word. I used to get a lot of problem with this word. What is fitya? Anybody knows? I'll give you a hint. It is a plural. Trust me, it's not going to. Yes, good, very good. It is a plural for fata. And this word is every which way this word is difficult. So if you want me to spend a little bit time on this word, I will do so. So singular word is fata, like this. But actual, if you want to pronounce everything, you say fatan. Okay, and this word will be fatan like this all the time, whether it is damma or kasra, whether it's marfu or majrur or mansub, it will always be fatan. So we learned, the subject will always take damma, right? So do you put a damma here? No, it is always fatan. So be careful with this word. So this word means young boy. So how do you say the young boy? We say al-fata. So you remove the tanween. Again, it stays with the fata. So you say al-fata, let's say tawilun. So remember, this is a subject and this is a predicate. We know that both subject and predicate has to be, the mubtada and khabar has to be marfu, dhamma. So this is dhamma is good, but where's my dhamma? There is no dhamma because this word is just like that. There are other words like that. And it is plural, subhanallah. The plural of the fata, the masculine version is fitya with the ta marbuta. He thought things get easier, but it doesn't. So be careful with this word. So fityatu or fityatun is plural for fata. So man ha'ula il fityatu, who are these young boys, at-tiwalu, the tall young boys, ya Ali. Okay, so learn them. You should be able to translate them. All those things we have studied, whom, tullabun, judud. So it's something that inshallah you can go try to translate. Try to translate every single sentence from here. Okay, and if you get stuck, I give you everything you need to help you out. You have this vocab. This vocab will give you everything with regards to the vocabs. Okay, I really want you to translate every single thing, and I can promise you you'll love them. You'll see how you feel good when you translate everything, and if you get stuck, as I mentioned to you, look into the dictionary. Here we learned asma'uhum. Asma is the plural of ism. Naam. So their names. Remember, asma'ul husna is in the Quran. What is hujjaj? Hujjaj is plural for hajj. Hajj. Remember, this is a little bit tricky. Hajjun. Hajjun is the one who performs pilgrim, like does the Hajj. So بعضهم من الصين, some of them from the China, and بعضهم من اليابان. So very simple stuff. And this is a very important. This lesson is important for a few different reasons, guys. Number one, this lesson gives you all the singular that we have learned thus so far. As far as I know, probably at least 80 to 90% of the words that we've learned so far. So now what he's doing is that he's giving you plural. Okay, so we learned a talib before. So now he's giving you plural. Tullab, tajir, tujjar, hajj, hujjaj, rajul, rijal, kabir, kibar. So he's giving you all the plurals. But look what he says. He says, حول المبتدا في كل من الجمل الآتية إلى الجمع. He only thing said to change. حول means to change the mubtada. He wants you to change the subject. He said nothing about predicate. He didn't ask you to change the predicate. He says to change the subject. But this is something that that I don't know if you know or not. So something, I'm not sure if I mentioned to you. The subject and predicate, they have to match both in gender. They also have to match in the number. So if your subject is plural, your predicate has to be plural. So once you make this one into ha'ula'i, just like in English, if we say these, after these, you cannot say these are a pen. It doesn't work that way. As soon as you make the subject change, you have to use the predicate. You have to make it into plural. So if you say, if according to him, if you make this one into ha'ula'i, so obviously you cannot say ha'ula'i talibun. Doesn't make any sense. So now you're forced to change your predicate. Now, there's nothing for me to do. It's only for you to check and pay special attention from here. And we'll talk about this. Pay very, very good attention because you want the patterns, you have a pattern. You want a pattern, you have a pattern. Mudarris, mudarrisuna. Muhandis, muhandisuna. Fallah, fallahuna. Mujtahid, mujtahiduna. Muslim, muslimuna. Kafir, kafiruna. Mu'min, mu'minuna. So we have some set of words that their plurals would be just like in English. We add s or es, we will add wow and noon. These are called sound plural for masculine. Inshallah, we will talk more in details later, but just keep that in mind. Now, so this is also another very good exercise. So again, we have to change the number. So we say, Man hadha rajul, who is this man? He say, huwa hajjun. So now you have to change it. You say, Man haula irrijal. We say, whom hujjaj. So now you're changing two types of pronoun. You're changing the demonstrative pronoun. You're also changing your subject pronoun, ضمير munfasil. So please do them. There's nothing for me to do here. So here, this is also another very good example. So a lot of examples. That's why we spend time in the explanation to learn the rules, and we spend time here to apply them. He give you what? Abna. Abna is the son or the boys. You say Abna'u Muhammadin. So Abna'u Muhammadin. Idaf, mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. So you say Abna'uhu. So this who is a singular. So he wants you to make it into plural, or he wants you to make it into all other attached pronouns. So you say asma'u tullab. Remember, only thing you have to do here, What is the one thing you have to change here? Who can tell me before I finish? If I want to combine this one, just remove the tanween. Asma'ul tullab. Now, but now he wants you to say, how do you say with whom? You say asma'ul whom. You say zumala'uka. Okay, you say asdiqa'uhu. So make these changes. Subhanallah. Now comes the exercises with the verbs. So you say الطالب ذهب إلى المطعم. You say الطلاب ذهبوا إلى المطعم. الطالب جلس في الفصل. You say الطلاب جلسوا في الفصل. المدرس خرج من المدرسة. You say المدرسون خرجوا من المدرسة. التاجر ذهب إلى السوق. You say التجار ذهبوا إلى السوق. اقرأ واكتب. Read them. Put the haraka, every single haraka. If not, at least put at the end. Here you say dhamma because this is a subject. It's marfu. This gets a kasra because this is majroor because of harful jar. You know, have fun with these things, guys. There's a lot of stuff. The author is not introducing a lot of new words, so don't think there are a lot of words. No, all of these things you know, especially if you've done that exercise where he gave you plural of almost every words that you know, then these things are very simple. At-tulabul kibar, because he already told you the kibar is the plural for kabir, and it is also plural for kabira. Now, so now he wants you to write the plural for all of these words. So many different types of exercise. You know, if you do them, I just don't see how you will not understand them. If you skip them, that's when the problem happens. Now, so he's telling you these are some of the new words. Haql, what is haql and hukul? Anybody remembers what is al haql? Is the field. Then we have nas, qarya, village. What is loif? Is guest. نعم. مطعم مدرسة الابتدائية, it is your primary school. You have مدرسة الابتدائية, مدرسة الثانوية. So that's all. Allah Mustan. What do you mean by that's all? This is just the first section. Now, guys, when you study a section at a time. Think about this. One section is one lesson. Don't think about this is all part of one lesson. You will get overwhelmed. Here he's just doing the same thing but for the mu'annath. All the examples we had in the section 1, it all had to do with mudhakkar, masculine. Now he's going to do exactly the same thing for the feminine. So should not be complicated at all. So again, as you can see, the first example he gave you fitya, which was the plural for fata. Now he started with giving you plural for fatatun. So remember, the female is uh, uh, fatatun. And the plural is fatayat. Okay, fatayatun. Plural is fatayatun. So these things, this word is tricky. So just learn them. So we have hunna, and as you see, the hunna, the subject, the attached, and the detached is same thing. So you say man abu hunna. So this is the attached muqtasil, and this is munfasil. They are the same thing. So this is nice. Same example, last time you did it with ha'ula'i and hadha. Now you do ha'ula'i and hadihi. Again, they're giving you. Now, as you can see, one thing, so I will mention also pay attention to the plurals here. If you look carefully, you will see that usually making a feminine into a plural, it is very easy. They call it sound plural. Here we add alif and ta at the end. So for example, we have طالباتun, طالباتun. Only thing we add is alif and ta, but we have to remove this ta marbuta. So we remove this ta marbuta and we say طالباتun. Okay? طالباتun. From the طالباتun, we remove this ta marbuta and we add this alif and ta. So we say طالباتun. مدرساتun, we say مدرساتun. طبيباتun, we say طبيباتun. Muslimatun, we say muslimatun. So this is a good news. vast, I would say maybe 70 to 80%, maybe more, of the word that ends in ta marbuta, you make plural very easily. But is it always? No, it's not always. So for example, you have shajara, you have shajaratun. Do you say shajaratun? You can say it. You can say shajaratun, but we have a better plural, which is ashjar. Ashjarun. Okay, so there are sometimes it's not the case, but majority of the time, as you can see, everything that he gave you are all sound plural. You just add alif and ta. So this is a very, very good news. And also what we mentioned, the plural for the female version of the adjective is the same as the masculine version. Iqra waktub, read them. Very simple things, guys. So yeah, so now we have the verb version of it. Okay, so very good. So remember, we have Zainabu kharajat. We say Zainabu wa Aminatu wa Maryam. He used three names to make it into plural. Then he said kharajna. In English, all we had to do is introduce two names. We say Zainabu and Amina. Then we say they left. Now, Zainab and Amina, they left because right after the plural starts from the two. There is a reason why the author he had to mention three names to make it into plural, because I mentioned to you in Arabic the plural starts from three and more. When you have two, we have a different concept. Muthanna, inshallah, we will talk about them very soon in this book. So two is considered something else, dual. So we say al-mudarrisatu female teacher dhahab. This should be sukun here. See, that's the issue. Every time you put a haraka, there is bound to be a mistake. See, it's going to be a sukun here, right? Al-mudarrisatu dhahabat ila al-fasli. The teacher, female teacher, went to the classroom. Now, how do you make it into plural? You say al-mudarrisatu. Al-mudarrisatu, the female teachers. What do you say? Dhahab, dhahabna. Remember how you have to pronounce it. Dhahabna. Dhahabna. So do them. Very, very good exercises. So this is another one. Hada and hadi. This is a nice. Here we have to deal with both masculine, feminine, and the plural. So this is a very important and nice exercise. So if you have ukhti, and here, as you can see, there's no haraka. You have to think about the letters and make a sound out of this. Especially these two is very tricky, but you have to see what you have. You have to know how to make the sound. So this is ukhti, my sister. So what do we use? Do we say hada, hadhi, or haulai? Huh? Of course, here we will say hadihi. Naam, hadihi. So we have rijal. What do we say? Do you say hada rijal, hadihi rijal, or haulai? We say haulai. Naam. Same thing. Mudarrisuna or talibat. Okay, this one. At-talibatu tun. The female students. What do you say? Hada, hadihi, or haulai? Remember, we use haulai for masculine and feminine. So we say haulai talibatun. Now, kutubun. Kutubun. What do we use? Yes, you can use tilka if you want to say from here. Just pick one from here. What do you use for tilka? Sorry, what do you use for kutubun? Do you say these are books? Hadihi ahsanti. So we say hadihi. So something, inshallah, you will learn. This is not, but only thing, the reason I'm bringing up, because you have to know we cannot use haulai for objects. Something we will learn, inshallah. This noon with the na is the attached plural for the nahnu. Kitabuna, Rasuluna, Rabbuna. This na, inshallah, the author did not mention in this book. He will do it in the next lesson. But all the other things you can translate. Here is also another very important exercise and a little bit hard also because you have to deal with huwa, hiya, whom, hunna. All of them, singular and the plural, masculine, and the feminine. So I'll just give you one thing and then we'll move on. This one, number 6. Aina talibatu. What goes here from these examples or from these? Hmm? Hunna. Very good. I say hunna fil mustashfa al-wulada. So as you can see, it's not complicated. It just requires a little bit of your time and thinking and practice. That's it. So here you have to give a plural for these words. As I mentioned to you, most of the ta marbuta is very easy. Just add alif and ta, alif and ta. This is alif and ta, but this is alif and ta, but it's a little bit tricky. You say fatayat because you have to make some kind of changes here. So you have to say fatayat. Bint is banat, ukh, akhawat, tabib, atibba, kabir, kibar. For both kabira and kabir would be kibar. Now, so now as you can see, he's giving a chart. We have hada and haulai, hadihi and haulai. Study these charts. This is something that I do and most of the people will do. When you write a plural, you use the word jim. So for example, you say walad, and then you put a jim, and then you say awlad. So this jim is indication for plural, jam'un. Now, okay, he's indicating another interesting thing about this word, imra'atun. Imra'atun is a little bit tricky also because as you know, its plural is nisa, but also something happens, some kind of changes happen when you add alif lam to the imra. When you put alif lam, you remove the hamzatul wasl. So we say al mar'atu. You don't say al imra'atu. You say al mar'atu. Okay, al mar'atu. So now come the last part, which is the James section, which here he deals with what? What does he, what are the things he deals with here? Oh, now, here is just about ulaika, and also learn how to spell the ulaika. You say ulaika. Okay, ulaika. So as you can see, you say haulai ikhwati wa ulaika asdiqai. Okay, very nice. These are my brothers and those are my friends. Brother should be close, friend should be far. Man ulaika rijal at-tiwal. Okay, and he could have also said man ulaika an-nisa at-tiwal. Okay, it would have been the same thing. Hunna ummahat. What is ummahat? It is a plural for ummun. These are the ummahatu at-talibat, the mothers of the students. Aba. This is a plural for ab. Ulaika. Careful with these two hamza here. Ulaika nisa'u khalatuka ya Maryam. What is khala? Is plural for khala. What is khala? It is your aunt. Is aunties from where? From your mother's side. Just go through them. Honestly, I don't see super complication. It's just a lot of exercises, which is very nice. Just go through them. So Inglaterra is England and France is France. Don't get confused with this one. This is the name of the Saudi. You say Al-Mamlakatul Arabiyyah Saudiya. So that is the whole name. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So Mamlaka is the kingdom. So he wants you to give plural for all of these things. Is ummahat, ab is aba, imra is nisa. It's easy things. I do them. Iqra waktub. Okay, so here's another interesting thing. Okay, this is something I also have to mention. One of the things that I realized that the author of the shar, he hasn't been talking about mamnu min as-sarf so far. Now, I feel like he will talk about all of these things at the end or something. But anyway, but the main book, he is introducing a lot of concept with this type of word. So these are very special type of words where you have seen them before. And I mentioned to you, this is a little bit at intermediate topic. So author is introducing these words bits by bits. So what's the story of these words? Remember, I mentioned to you is the tanween, that all the nouns should have a tanween, but some words cannot have tanween. Okay, and we give you an example of like we say aminatu So who can tell me why we don't have tanwin here? Although we say hamidun, we have tanwin. Number one, we said all feminine names, or you can say all names with ta marbuta. All names, whether it is feminine for the female or masculine name, doesn't matter, as long as it is a proper name. Proper name. Okay, Hamza, Osama, doesn't matter masculine or feminine. If it has ta marbuta, we don't take a tanwin. We also had another type of set of words. Anybody remembers? Remember kaslan? Kaslanu. Huh? Jaw'anu. Yes, alif and nun. Same thing with Uthman. We say Uthmanu. So Uthman is not an adjective, it is a name of a person. So whether adjective or proper name ends with alif and nun, then it will not take tanween. We probably have also mentioned that non-Arab names. So for example, Ibrahim, Ibrahim, we say Ibrahimu, Fir'aunu. These are non-Arabic names. We put we don't take tanween. So here he's giving another set of rules. You have asdiqa'u, aghniya'u, aqwiya'u, atibba'u, fukara'u, zumala'u, wuzara'u, ulama'u. So you see there's some kind of tone, a pattern, but also this is alif al-mamduda. This is called alif al-mamduda. This alif al-mamduda, it is also an alama, sign of female or female something femininity. So again, these are advanced concept of grammar, but what they want to say, if you have alif and mamduda at the end, then it becomes this type of word that they cannot take a tanween. Even the asdiqa is, plural for male friends and ulama, but we have this alif mamduda. Alif mamduda means you have alif and hamza at the end. This is what alif mamduda is. Now, so if you have alif mamduda at the end, then we have not, this is not 100%. It's not 100%, okay? Majority of the time, it will not take a tanween. So these are all plurals. Yeah, good question. So, inshallah, we'll go into the details. What she's asking about. Can we just, blanketly say that alif and noon, every alif and noon? Not necessarily. Because if alif and noon is part of the word itself, then this rule doesn't take. But these alif and noon, these are zaida, these are extra, because actual word is kasala, kasula, kasula, meaning the actual word you only have three letters, kaf, sin, and lam, to become lazy. But as you can see, when we say kaslanu, we have the original word, but we also have alif and noon. So this alif and noon is additional. So whenever we have additional alif and noon, that time it takes this rule. But honestly, right now, there's no point of thinking like that. So don't worry about this one. Just by and large, if you have alif and noon for the adjective, it will be in this state. And when it is not, you'll learn them. Okay, so that's why I don't want to bring the advanced topics. But since you asked, I'm explaining to you. So you always start with the basic, and then you'll always see the exceptions. You'll learn more and more and more. Now he is showing you, he's giving you a chart. MashaAllah, it's a very good chart. He's giving a chart of Asma al-Ishara lil-Ba'id, just like what the other author did. So we have Mudhakkar, for Dhalika, for Ba'id, for the far, and for singular, and Ulaika is for plural. Tilka is for singular feminine. Ulaika is for plural feminine. And also keep in mind that we don't use ulaika. This is the opposite. Dhalika is for both human and object. Ulaika is only for human. Dhalika is only for masculine. Ulaika is for masculine and feminine. Allah المستعان. So we have Muhammad ذهب, Muhammad wa Hamid wa Ali ذهبوا. So he wants to make sure you understand this is a plural, or he could have said whom ذهبوا. Maryam ذهبت. He said Maryamu wa Aminatu wal Fatimatu, or hunna ذهبنا. And you have your new vocabs. So with that, subhanallah, we have completed our lesson number 13. Subhanallah, it was a big, as I mentioned to you, it is as good as like more than 2 lessons anyway. So that's fine. It's not a problem. So with that, we will wrap up today's class.